On this week's Tuesday Talk, we are discussing hobbies on the road and whether you can have them.
I think you're going to like the answer.
So obviously the answer is yes. That is one of the main reasons we're hitting the road after we retire, is to enjoy ourselves and do our hobbies. Some hobbies are going to make this easier than others. And I think, for instance, Steve's main hobby, photography, is probably easier or more suited for a life on the road than my main hobby,
For sure.
knitting.
Yeah. I mean, a couple cameras, a couple lenses, a couple microphones maybe, and a tripod. I mean, that's really all. I mean, from a basic kind of foundational standpoint of photography, that's really all you need.
Yep.
And I mean, everything is digital now, so I don't even need to store film. I just download it all onto my laptop, and really that's it. It's very small, very contained, but I can do so much with it.
My hobby, knitting, on the other hand, can include a lot of stuff, stashes of yarn and other items, but really, you can only work on so much at one time, and this is what I think is good to realize about having hobbies on the road and having a smaller space, is that we focus more on what we're working on right now and not on what we've already made or what we can make in the future. So that meant paring down my stash a bit so it would fit behind the couch, and keeping what I'm currently working on in a bag, and not buying lots and lots more for the future when I have plenty. I have years worth
Plenty already,
still
yeah.
behind the couch. So like other hobbies, yeah.
It's true.
It's true.
Yeah.
They'll all be knitting faster once we are on the road and I'm not working. But there are other hobbies that usually require a lot more space, a lot more stuff. Like,
I don't know.
sewing, quilting.
Woodworking.
Yeah.
I mean, you're probably not going to carry a table saw with you, but for example, we just acquired a jigsaw lately. And I mean, you can have a lot of the same tools that you would. You just wouldn't necessarily have some of the conveniences of having it all in one space, having it, nailed down somewhere. But if it's important enough to you, for example, the More We Explore does a lot of biking, and they built a custom biking rig inside their truck. So if carpentry is important enough to you, you can probably use your truck or something similar to...
As a workshop of some
Yeah,
sort.
exactly. A makeshift workshop.
You'd, just like with any of the other hobbies, you'd have to find a home for your creation once you're done with it. It's not like you can just carry around everything
You might
you've
sell it or
made.
give it away or ask
Exactly.
family members what they might want, and just make it for them.
Exactly. And same with quilting or making clothes, or any of the other creative hobbies. Art even. We've met some people on the road who carry around paints and easels and everything else. And it kind of just takes a shift in your thinking in not collecting so much just in case, and not keeping everything around that you've already done, and focusing on the actual hobby of the doing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and the more stuff your hobby demands, the more creative you'll probably have to be to make that hobby fit.
Yes.
But I can't think of very many hobbies that you wouldn't be able to do living in a small space.
Just like he said, might take a little more creativity to get it.
Yeah, and prioritizing that over something else
Yeah.
that you might have.
Yeah. So if you really wanted to make a life on the road work and you wanted to keep a very important hobby, it's completely doable.
Yes. Yeah.
And there's probably someone out there who's done it.
And some people go to quite some expense. I mean, we've seen big motorhomes towing huge trailers.
Yes.
So if it's really that important to you and the money's there, I mean, there are all kinds of things
options
that you can do to bring your hobbies with you.
Yes.
But you don't have to necessarily do that. You can
No.
pare down and really get creative with it.
Yeah, we've seen people with Class Bs who have like whole areas for their crafts, and so it is completely doable. In fact, we'd love to hear about your guys' hobbies. If you're on the road, what you guys have accomplished and figured out on trying to keep your hobbies while traveling and in a small space. So if you could leave comments below, I'm sure that will help us and others who might be thinking, I can't do this because I sew, or I scrapbook, or I cook, or I bake.
Or I just have too much stuff.
Yes.
That's probably true, but that is not something that you can't fix.
It's true. It's very true. So that's it for this week.
Okay. Sounds good.
As always, this was a question from a viewer in the past, and so if you have any questions for us regarding life on the road, which will be happening soon, tiny living, Airstream life, anything like that, please leave them in the comments below.
We'll be glad to read them and like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, and
we'll see you next time.
yes, we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.